All right, so this one says solve the following equations by factoring. I chose to do this factoring problem instead of the other factoring problem because it's much more difficult, and I want to show you guys two different methods. Remember, the reason why this is more difficult is because of that 3 term out in front. Now, some of my students seem to have clung on to something that I mentioned where if you use the quadratic formula to figure out the factors, you just stick the 3 out in the front. But you can only do that in certain cases. So like I always tell people, only use the shortcut when you know when to use it. Otherwise, they tell you take a left at McDonald's, and you're taking the left at the wrong McDonald's, and now you have no clue where you are. All right, so we're going to solve by factoring. The first way is sort of like a guess and check method. The nice thing about the number 3 is that we know that the only thing that can multiply to make 3 is 1 and 3. So in our two factors, we are going to have a 3x and an x. Also, something we know about 10 is there's only a few things that multiply to make 10. We could do 1 and 10, we could do 2 and 5, and that's it. Those are the only whole number factors of 10. So, it's either going to be, we only have a few different options. It's either going to be 1 here and a 10 here, or a 10 here and a 1 here, or a 5 here and a 2 here, or a 2 here and a 5 here. So it's got to be only one of those. There really aren't that many options. There's only 4. Now you could just guess and check. The first thing I would guess is I would probably guess there's not going to be a 10 here because then I would have to multiply 10 times 3x and I'd get 30x. So let me just get rid of that option there. But maybe a 10 here and a 1 here could work. Let's find out. If we do FOIL it out, we'll get 3x squared, and then we'll get plus 3x, and then plus 10x, and then plus 10. Okay, so we've got the 3x squared, we've got the plus 10, but unfortunately these are going to add up to 13x. So we did something wrong. Let's go back, erase our work, and try again. Try something different. So it's got to be the 10 and 2 combination. And again, you can just guess and check. You can kind of be smart about it and start looking and predicting what it's going to be. Because we know that this number here is going to multiply, whatever's here is going to multiply by this. Whatever's here is going to multiply by the 3x. So that's why when I was just thinking about it, I was like, oh, okay, well, I know that 5 times x is 5x. 2 times 3x is 6x. Those will add up to make 11x, so this must be it. So let's FOIL it out. 3x squared plus 6x plus 5x plus 10. These will combine together, and so we'll have 3x squared plus 11x plus 10. Good, so we found our factors. However, it tells you to solve. Remember, solving means we're trying to find the variables. We're trying to find x. So with our factors of 3x plus 5 and x plus 2, we can use our product property of 0, which says that anything times 0 is 0. So if this whole number was 0, this 3x plus 5 was 0, then we get a total answer of 0. Or if this was 0, it would multiply to make 0. So the shortcut is it's going to be opposite of the first divided by the last. But I'll show you the long way too. Minus 5 minus 5, 3x equals negative 5, divided by 3, divided by 3. You get that x is negative 5/3. And then here we get minus 2 minus 2. This one's much easier. X equals negative 2. So those are our two possible solutions for what x could be. And that's it. I'm going to show you the other way that we could do this is using the box method. So we'll notice that took about 4.5 minutes. Let's see if the box method gets us there any faster. So we have 3x squared plus 11x plus 10. Now when you do the box method, you've got to start with your ACB factors. So what we have to do, what ACB means, is that you have to find something that multiplies to make AC, which is A times C, and that adds to make B, which is 11. So AC, A times C is 30, and B is 11. Alright, so what's going to multiply to make 30, but then add to make 11? So think about the factors of 30. You've got 3 times 10, now that'll add up to 13. How about 5 times 6? Oh, that'll do the trick. 5 times 6, 5 plus 6. And now we bring it into the table. Alright, so the table looks like this. Well, we're trying to figure out what goes here, 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 and here to make what we're about to put into the table, which is always your A term, 3x squared. Your C term is here. And then you choose these numbers here. You put 5x here, and you put your 6x here. Now from here, you just factor up, and out, and out. Sorry, that was supposed to be an arrow. I don't know what I just drew. Alright, so the greatest common factor of 5x and 10 is just the number 5. The greatest factor of 3x squared and 6x is, we've got the 3 and you also have the x. Now because this is a positive, we put plus here. The greatest common factor of 3x squared and 5x is just x. They both have x, and there's nothing that goes into both 3 and 5, so it's just x. The greatest common factor of 6 and 10 is 2, because 2 goes into both of them. We'll say plus 2 since it's a positive 2. So now we have our factors are 3x plus 5, x plus 2 equals 0. And we would do the same process of 3x plus 5 equals 0, or x plus 2 equals 0. And we will solve these the same way that we just solved the other ones. But for time's sake, I'm actually going to do it because I want to see which one actually gets us there faster. We got 3x equals negative 5, divided by 3. X is negative 5 thirds. And here we just get x is negative 2. And this took us about 3 minutes and a half maybe. And I did go a little bit quicker on this. So maybe either method is going to get you there at the same speed. The point is use whichever method works for you. However, you definitely have to factor if it says to solve by factoring. You can check your answer with the quadratic formula. You can try to find the factors of the quadratic formula if you remember how to do that and what to do with that. Just make sure you know what you're doing if you choose any of those kinds of shortcuts. Alright, and I'm going to hit end.